Everyone, I hope that you all are well. In today's video, we will learn about models. Well, I haven't written any definition here, so you have to remember it that what are models. So, models are some words which are also called auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs means helping verbs. These words are used to express certain expressions, like whenever you have to give or take permission, when you have to make a request, when you talk about a possible condition, or when you suggest something to someone. So let's start it without making any delay. So first one slide is on some sentences. Let's have a look at these. So first you can see here, I can carry more weight. This picture is saying I can carry more weight. So here this boy is talking about the ability, that he has this much capacity and he can carry more weight. See the next picture. We should go to school daily. So one girl is suggesting here that we should go to school daily. Now look at the third picture where a little boy is helping an old lady. So the sentence is we must help elders. So here this sentence is telling us that we are ought to help our elders. So here suggestions or advice or moral obligation is coming. And see the fourth picture, may I help you? So this is a permission. So let's start it, and the very first model is can. Now about can, you must know certain things, that can is informal. That means it is not used for formal use. And when to use it? Whenever we have to talk about expressions or conditions like ability, possibility, impossibility as well, asking for permission or request. So how can we use it for ability or for possibility? See the sentence, they can control their own work. So that means they have capacity, they have ability, that they can control their work. Now next is for impossibility, that we can just change just by adding not. We can't fix it. If we would say we can fix it, so that would be our ability or possibility of something. But if we would say we can't, so that would become its negative expression, impossibility. Next is for asking for permission. Can I bring here? So you can use it, but it's not quite formal, it's kind of informal. And the last is request. So whenever we have to make a request, which is kind of a permission to, you use it, like can you help me? So it is an expression where you're asking for permission. Now let's move forward, and the next one is could. Remember that could is used for future and for past of can as well. And where do we use it? For permission, for request, for possibility, for like future as I've already told you, and for ability. So let's read the examples for permission. Could I borrow your dictionary? Request, could you say it again slowly? Possibility, I think we could have another tea. So this is possibility here. Now for future, I wish Henry would meet me next week. So here this person who is saying is wishing, this is for future, that Sandril could meet me again next week. And the last is for ability, he gave up his old job so he could work for us. So this is about ability. Now we would move forward and we'll talk about may. So may be used for permission and for possibility. So this is something which I want to tell you, that may is very formal and it has a positive sense. So for permission, may I have another cup of coffee? So that means that person who would answer would obviously say yes. Now next is for possibility. I may finish my homework. So there is a firm or a positive possibility here that yes, I may finish my homework. Now we will talk about next, that is might. So might is in a way used for past and future of may, but another sense where we use it is for possibility or for something that you just make a guess for, assumption. Like, so here example is, we would better phone tomorrow, they might be eating their dinner now. So that means it's a possibility, assumption is there that we better phone this person or those people tomorrow because they might be taking their dinner now. So it's just possibility of something. Now we would talk about next, that is shall. As you know that shall is actually a helping verb, but at the same time it is a modal, an auxiliary verb too. So where do we use it? Whenever we have to make offer, whenever we have to make a suggestion, or whenever we have to ask for permission. So for offer, sentence could be, shall I help you with your luggage? So here one is giving offer. Second, for suggestion, shall we say 2:30 then? So it's again here about the suggestion. One is giving suggestion. And for permission, shall I do that or will you? So here the person wants to take permission. Now next is should. So usage first we'll talk about. We use should whenever we say something that is correct, or whenever we talk about possibility of something, or when we have to advise that has to be very strong suggestion. So let's see the examples first. We should solve this problem. Okay, so here possibility is there. Fees should decrease next year. Okay, so again possibility is there, or in fact in the first sentence you can have that sense that what you are saying, that's correct. And now last one, you should study daily. So this is an advice, a strong suggestion. Now we'll talk about the next, will. So will is also a helping verb as well as a modal. And for modal, we have some conditions where we use will. That is whenever you make a decision, or when you offer, or when you promise. So for decisions you would say, I can't see any taxis, so I'll walk. So here decision is there, that okay, first action is there and the second action depends on the other one, so that is a decision. Offer, I'll do that for you if you like. So the person is giving a kind of offer. And next and last is promise, I'll come back on Monday. So here firm determination is there, someone is making a promise. Now we'll talk about would. So usage first. So would we talk or we use it whenever we ask for permission. That is very formal. Remember, could and would, they are very formal ways to ask for permission. Next is for request, and next is for invitation. Let's read it with the examples. So permission, would you mind if I brought a friend with me? So here this person is taking permission. Request, would you mind waiting a moment? So here the person is requesting for something. And for invitation, would you like to play basketball this Friday? So it's an invitation. So do remember that whenever you have to ask for something in a very polite manner, you can use would there, especially for permission. And same sense, when you have to make a request, very polite one, then you can use could there. Now next, ought to. So the pronunciation is ought, O-U-G-H-T, ought to, and we always use to after it. So what is the usage of ought to? That whenever we say something that we know that it is correct, we use ought to. Or we can say for moral obligation, duty. Example, she ought to finish by next week. So here one person is saying something correct that has to be done. Okay, and for moral obligation you can say you ought to listen to your parents. So here moral obligation would come. Okay, or moral obligation means moral duty. Now next we'll talk about must. Must and ought to are quite similar, because must we use for moral obligation as well, like we must get up early. But here one thing is there, that is moral obligation as well as you're asked to do that. It's kind of a suggestion. Okay, now let's move forward and we'll talk about have to, has to, had to, and will have to. And here only we will see the difference between must and have to. So first of all, have to we use for present, have to for pronouns like I, we, they, you, and for plurals, and has to be used for he, she, it, and for singulars. Had to we use for past for all subjects, and will have to be used for future for all subjects. So when do we use it now? So it is used when we are in some kind of very important work, so it is necessary, or it shows obligation and gives advice. Okay, so this I have already explained when to use have to, has to, had to, will have to. Now what is the difference? Must we use for personal duties. So suppose we can say you must read newspaper daily, so that means that work you must do, must do yourself daily. And next is you must clean your room, you must take exercise, so these are for personal duties. Whereas have to means obligation to help others. When you have a kind of duty and you have to help the others, like you have to give food to dog, you have to wash your father's car, or you have to do shopping for your family. So that is the difference. And as you know that many of these modal verbs, they have same expression, they have same conditions where they are used. So don't get confused, you can use any of those depending on a certain condition. So I hope you understood it, as this topic was very interesting and easy also. So thank you very much. Keep studying.